Hi.
Oh, let me get my mic closer. Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
We've we just had a conversation about this, but your appearance,
Yes.
and probably just going to go and do the same thing again.
I
But
mean, we can,
so
or we can leave people in the dark and just not refer to it at all.
yeah. If they say something, just ignore it. Just like,
Yeah, 100%.
what is he
Like,
talking about? Why did he keep saying?
just no, not even that. Just like literally, just every time people comment, just ignore it. Like, don't even show the comment. Just don't anything. So I just tried to fly.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get many people watching today. Did you guys think? Didn't think yeah, I didn't think we were going to be here this week. I don't want to be. I want it to be a short show. Oz, unfortunately, has got loads of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Tebs is here, Kwame's here. Hello, all
Hello,
of those
cool
people
people are here. It's the regulars. It's just the regulars. That's all we're getting.
They're all Sport Tank, all of them.
Yeah. It's an employees. It's an employees.
I think everyone's done with the show. So
it's an employees only show. Like if we hit 40 tonight, I'll be fucking surprised.
Nah, yeah, it depends. You just say something controversial, and then it just.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Only 3 hours, then. Yeah, I don't want it to be. I've got stuff to do.
I don't want a 3-hour show.
No. So yeah, do you want to tell everyone what's happened to your face?
What happened to my fat? Oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is So my missus is really into what she calls spooky season.
Your cat.
So she's been trying to. Mate, honestly, I've heard so many of these. I've heard so many of these. They caught up with me. No. So originally I'd wanted to go down to the final. And I was like, we're going to the final. And the missus is like, we're not going to the final. I've got stuff I want to do. So we had a little bit of a dust up. And as you'll notice, I was not seen at the final.
She won.
Yeah, she definitely won. No. I took a kneecap to the head playing rugby, blew my face right open. Steve's got the before picture if he wants to show.
Before this is the picture.
Well, this is the before. This is the after. This is the after currently. That's the before.
That's what happened to fucking. Look at that. They can see his skull apparently.
Yeah, that's my skull in there. Just that part in there is my skull. Yeah. So
what did you say? 14 external stitches? Is that right?
I got 4. I think I've got like 6 or. She didn't count the internals. She said I did about like 6. She's like I did about 6 or 7 on the internal. Yeah. So she had to stitch the muscle and the flesh together on the inside. So they had to get somebody from the fucking like plastic surgery department down to do it because the A&E nurses were like, well, we could do it, but you'd end up looking like fucking. It'd be all just like we stitched together arms and shit. So we could just like, so they brought somebody down from like plastic surgery to make sure they stitched together like my facial muscles and shit that are up in there. And then, And then it's 14 on the outside. But yeah, just,
do you reckon you end up with like a quality scar down your face? Like,
well, maybe
are you hoping for like it? Because that's a great place to have a big scar like that.
Mate, honestly, it just means that every video game character I ever create, like, there's a reason to fucking put scars on them. Because I used to put scars on the characters to make them look cool, but now I'm like, well, I kind of look like this. Put a big fucking slice down the.
The only way it could be better is if it was over your eye.
Oh, like looking like a Bond, get an eye patch, and then looking like a Bond villain.
Yeah, that's the only way this could be any better.
Yeah, 100%.
In my opinion. Well, I mean, the after, like the longer term stuff.
Well, I mean, the fact that I lost like all speech faculties for like
2.5 hours. Yeah, so you were concussed and.
Oh, mate, I was fucking
your motor skills and your.
I was a cooked cabbage, like so we from sort of piecing together what the missus has told me and what I remember. So it happened, and then I don't really know what like the immediate aftermath. And then we went to a walk-in centre around the corner from the rugby ground to like because they were like, oh, that's the closest place for you to be able to get stitched up. Yeah, Quasimodo. Yes, that's way better. That's better. Because they were like, you can get stitched up there and then just come back to the club rooms for a few beers. So we went to this walk-in center, found out that it's not a walk-in center anymore. It's closed as a walk-in center. It's just a fucking GP surgery for Sunday. So then we called an ambulance, and the ambulance people were like, it's going to take between 2 and 6 hours to get an ambulance out to you. So we just called a taxi. Like the center place called me a taxi instead.
What they say? You're a taxi.
Yeah.
You're a taxi.
Yeah, and I was just like, just frothing at the mouth, and then they got taxi, went to the hospital and everything, and then my brain just essentially shit itself. Like I was like on the bed in the fucking acuity ward. Like the missus said that we were sitting in the waiting room, and apparently like my arm just started to twitch.
Oh mate!
And I started to like fall asleep.
He's explaining it, Sam. Just rewind it.
Yeah, so like my arm started to twitch and I started to fucking just nod off into noddy land, and every time she'd speak to me, I had no idea what was going on. So then a nurse came through and took me straight through to A&E part, and then I had like fucking, we're talking like a helmet's worth of bandages around my head, and they started taking the bandages off, and then as each layer came off, the bandage started getting darker and darker, because there was just so much fucking blood.
It was mental amount of blood, yeah.
And then as they peeled it off, they were like, "Oh fuck!" And yeah, because you know you can see my skull, like
that's
fucking
unreal.
Yeah, and then the missus said that it got to a point where like I just shut down and I couldn't speak. Like they'd ask me questions. I got my age wrong. I didn't know where I lived. Fucking, they were asking me questions and I'd try to speak and then I'd just cry because I couldn't fucking.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't. Like she said, she's like, I was so scared.
What a bitch! What a little bitch you are.
Yeah, I know, mate. Just brain damage.
Jesus, mate.
Yeah, but I was like sitting there and I was like trying to speak and shit, and then I just shake and cry and I couldn't speak, and she was just.
Well, I bet your missus was worried, wasn't she? Or was she laughing at you?
No, fucking terrified, mate. She's not your missus, so
she's a mom. No, with a mom.
No, it's like it's mine's a normal human being. She hasn't got the relationship that you and yours have got. Yeah. You used to be sitting there fucking Instagram living, being like, look, Steve's
in it or whatever. Yeah,
she'd be like, Steve's a vegetable now. Fuck him. Yeah. But yeah, it just fucking, and then.
And so it's a broken nose as well.
Yeah. So I've broken the bridge. Like I can't really breathe. Yeah. Properly. I'm like, so they gave me these papers and they said, like, if you still can't breathe in a week, come back and we'll fucking surgically re-break it so you can breathe again. So that's why I've got like the double black eyes and shit, because the bridge is just fucking splattered. But so I had to wash my head with a fucking because I wasn't allowed to have a shower or anything because the stitches, because you got to keep them fucking, I don't know, for some reason you can't get water on them or some shit for 24 to 48 hours. Right. So I got home on Saturday night, just went to sleep, and then woke up and my fucking white pillowcase is just browny, like maroon from all the blood off my head. Like, because I didn't, like, it was just matted around the back.
Yeah, it was all over your head. Yeah,
it was just matted around the back of my head and my hair and shit. And then sitting in the bath last night like a fucking 4-year-old with the missus with a little fucking sponge, like washing my head to like clean the blood off my scalp and shit. All of them, Rachel. Absolutely all of them. So I got a bang average hiding. Yeah, and all it was, mate, is it's just I haven't played rugby in 5 years. My reflexes aren't what they used to be, and I'm old. And I didn't get my fucking head out the way in the tackle properly. Callum's pretty much got it bang on. It was, mate. It was a knee, split my face right open. So, yeah. So that was my Saturday, and then
and I can see you swollen up a little bit as well. That's gonna get.
No, I think that's just gout of the face. I think I'm just a fat cunt now. Like,
you can see your head's like now here.
Yeah.
It's gonna get all colourful next, isn't it? And very painful to touch, but
yeah, it's just.
But yeah. So did you have to have a blood? Is it transfusion?
No.
Give you blood because you must have lost a lot of fucking blood from that.
I have no idea how much I lost, but no, I didn't get like a top up or anything like that. So, but I can understand. Well, they did a CT. They put me into a fucking like.
God bless up. Yeah, put you into the old machine.
Yeah. So I don't remember.
Did you fit into it?
I don't know. I guess so.
Because they can't remember.
No idea. Like Joe said that they came into the room and they were like, "We're just going to take him for a quick CT. He'll be back in 5." And then I was gone for like 20 minutes. And then she was like, "That was like the longest fucking 5 minutes of my life because I didn't know where you were." Yeah. Because at that point when they took me away was when I was right in the middle of my fucking like being a vegetable stage.
Yeah.
And so but they said that there was no bleeds on the brain or anything like that. So no. They did not find a brain at all, Tony. It was just empty. Absolutely empty.
So we got 40 people watching now. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next season.
Yeah. But so it's just got my fucking like it was probably after we'd been at the hospital for about 4 or 5 hours or something, and I don't know, it was like a light switched on in my head, and I slightly started like coming back around. Like it's like to me, it was like I kind of woke up. Like I was like, oh shit. And then I started to be a little bit more chatty and asked them if I could take photos. And that's why that photo, you see like the fucking doctors like pulling it apart.
Yeah, pulling it apart.
I was like, because she was like, I need to have a proper look and see how deep it is and shit. And I was like, yeah, cool. I was like, do you mind if I take photos while you're doing that? So there's literally, I can send you it. There's a progression where she's like, because I'm like snapping the fucking camera, trying to get as many photos of her like pulling my face apart as possible.
Yaz is here. Hello, Yaz.
Hello, Yaz.
I was just explaining why he didn't watch any Britball over the weekend, I think.
Yeah, no, I've got no idea who won.
Do you know about anything about any of the games?
No, I know scores. I was going to say, I think all of the teams that I predicted to win won, was what I was going to say.
I think you're right.
I think I got all my predictions right. So, yeah, I was happy with that. Right. I heard that the fucking Cheetahs Northumberland game was an absolute belter where the Cheetahs were just dead. Should we get into it? Should we actually talk Britball? Because you can tell me about the games.
Well, yeah, let's start with Div 2. They're still in the order that they were played.
Yeah, cool. So I know the Mavericks kicked the shit out of the Revolution.
Yeah, 55-14.
Yeah, it was an absolute hiding.
Yep. And that's the only way to describe it. There was I don't think there's anything redeeming in that game for the Shropshire other than the fact that they earned their way to get there and they're now in Div 1. You know,
congratulations, Div 2.
Well done
in the north. Div 2 in the north. Div 2 in the north is a lot weaker than Div 1. Div 2 in the south.
Yeah. I almost turned it off because I was like, this isn't competitive, and I watched it till the end, but like, it wasn't. It's not what you wanted from a final.
Yeah, of course.
A one-sided affair. But then at the same, like, it's funny because I don't want to take away from East Kent and don't want to discredit the Revolution. East Kent were awesome, man. Like they were so good.
They looked like a Div 1 team.
Yeah, they look just like a Div 1 team. Yeah. Tony's saying he switched it off. Like I said, I nearly did, but I did watch it through. And yeah, it was.
That's grim. That is grim. 10 O-line and one QB Wildcat.
I don't even remember them doing that, but yeah, it just was easy for them. I feel like every division in the South is stronger than its northern counterpart. There's Adam. Yeah, Adam saying thanks. Yeah, it was. Like, obviously, if you're a Maverick, well, one thing that was annoying was the Mavericks Vuvuzelas. They did not stop all game. Well, they stopped when the Mavericks offense were on field, but then just, mate, they got to ban those fucking things, mate. I wasn't even there. Like, I was watching on live stream and it was annoying me. But imagine being in the stand and trying to enjoy the game and that shit's going off 10 foot away from you, man. Like, I just, that had done my head in.
I think we had.
For some games they weren't.
Didn't we have a conversation? Didn't we have a conversation about what you can and can't do on the sideline, and the refs can't stop you or some shit like that? Like,
yeah. I'm not saying the refs should stop you. I'm saying it's killing the enjoyment. But it's vuvuzelas are banned in most sports now because and that's from the 2006 World Cup, something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking South Africa. That's who did it first.
Yeah, I remember. I
remember because I went to South Africa after it, and fucking everyone was still blowing them in the streets.
I just remember that the first few fucking games of that World Cup were unwatchable because every cunt in the stands had a vuvuzela.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they have Ryan the Cat. They have banned them in most sports. So hopefully they ban them in ours because it's just shite. Basically, that's my biggest takeaway from that game.
yeah, it's just
the biggest talking point.
55-14. It's just Kwame is just saying 2010. I don't know what year it was.
2010. Sorry. Hold on. What year did I go there then? Oh yeah, I got my years wrong. It was 2010. It was 2010. That's the year I went there. I went to Durban.
You've been told the fun police are here trying to ban the vuvuzela.
And they love the Shakira song, the Waka Waka Shakira song.
Oh yeah.
Like if
Waka Waka.
Yeah. Some bloke turned it on. We were at a petrol station, right?
It's time for
and some fucking geezer had it on in his car and turned it right up. And I'm not joking. About 12 different people were dancing and singing to it in this fucking petrol station in Durban. I was like, this is the saddest, cringiest thing I've ever experienced. But fair enough. But yeah. They love that song which is by Shakira, who is from South America.
Someone doesn't appreciate your take on vuvuzelas.
Who's that?
Danny. He said you're the fun police, and how dare fans show support to their friends and family playing? Shame on them.
It's not that at all, is it? It's funny how people take one little thing that I say to an extreme. By saying that I don't like vuvuzelas and that they should be banned as they are in other sports, how the fuck do you extract from that? Oh, this guy doesn't want anyone to support their friends and family playing, and that should be a shame on him. Fuck you, Danny. If you can't find another way of fucking supporting a team, fuck off. Fuck off after the stream, you fucking nonce. What a joke. Do you know what I mean? What do I have to fucking... Why are we dealing with that shit? You fucking sensationalist cunt.
Oh, God. Oh, mate, must be the head injury. I forgot how.
Imagine a scientist doing that.
I forgot how level-headed you are.
Getting evidence of something and then making a big generalizing fucking hypothesis from it. Conclusion from it. It's just bullshit.
I forgot how level-headed you are when it comes to these
just
sort of
can't
things.
be arsed. Of course, everyone's now going to say he's fucking sarcastic and I'm over the top and all that. Whatever. Fuck off. Fucking done with shit. Fuck you.
You're so over.
Yeah, I barely even wanted to come on here, let alone have fucking people moaning me.
So you're in a year of bullshit. Fuck my life. Right. Okay.
So now we'll jump up to 100 people watching.
Yeah. 100%. You're just going to get clipped. It's just fuck off your nonce. Fuck off your nonce. Fuck off your nonce.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Fucking. You can write a complaint to me and I'll pick it up.
Send it into our complaints line.
Yeah.
It's that email inbox is manned by Steve. So you can not only can you get the clip of just being told to fuck off, you can get it in writing.
Anyway, right. So
the Div 1 final. The Div 1 final then.
No, I want to talk about the women's final as well.
London beat Birmingham.
Yeah. Now, Ofcom has entered the chat. Ofcom can enter the chat. They can fuck off as well. Right. So that game, I spoke to Tebs about it beforehand, and he was like, I was like, what do you think of it? Like, what do you think is going to happen? And he was like, oh, one-sided Warriors victory. Like, it's almost like not even worth playing. Fuck me, he was wrong, mate. It was fucking back and forth with like 70, 80 yard fucking plays. like early in the game. Then it sort of slowed down a bit, but there was still good drives going and everything, mate. It was such a because it's 9-a-side on a full size pitch, right? So essentially, if a ball carrier broke 2 to 3 tackles, they were pretty much gone.
Yeah,
the stakes were really high. The tackling had to be really sure, and it was awesome. And both sides of the ball, there were just great players playing great football. It was brilliant, and the Warriors won in the end.
That was played on the Saturday, right?
Yes, Saturday at 5 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. That women's game. We've got Giselle MVP. Just unbelievable, mate. Just unbelievable play. Yaz, who's popped up here, that was her first of that was her Saturday championship, and then she won her Sunday championship the next day with the Cheaters. She played 2 championship games and won them both.
Okay, now.
But it was really good. Some people are talking about the punt off of the head. We're not talking about that game at the moment. We're talking about the women's game. We'll talk about the Titans Warriors game after. This is the Warriors women team playing the Birmingham Lions women's team in the women's final. Let's not forget. It's more like when you watch like Sevens rugby. So
I've played those,
high octane, and but like there's some big athletes on those squads. Like they were very, very fast runners, a couple of them, and even in the third, fourth quarter, just giving it everything. It was saying so much running. There was a lot of running, you have to be very well conditioned to play that sport, and it was really entertaining to watch. Great, like another great example of the women's sport. Obviously we've got our fantastic GB Lions women's team. Is it second in the world? Is that have they still got that moniker? I hope they do.
Well, I was going to say if you're basing it based on World Cup standings, because they made the final. So second best team in the world.
So and then for domestically for us, that's our first time we've had a 9-a-side final. For women's football, it was their first year of 9s. They're obviously trying to push to 11s, but
was the stream provided by BAFA?
Yeah, so BAFA paid Onside to do it, and they got Onside to do it on BAFA's YouTube and BAFA's Facebook, which is perfect. Like normally it's on sides, but Onside aren't the sport, so it makes sense now that it's in the right place. And I looked earlier today, and it was something like, I think 5,000 views for the Div 1. No, 5,000. Does that sound right? I'm going to check it now. I was looking at the view count earlier. I'll do it on my phone.
I was just all I was going to say is it's a great showcase for the just for the sport in general, and it's great for the women then being able to be showcased on the BAFA page and getting it out there.
Well, as part of the whole week, and it I'll get to that in a second actually. So the Div 1 and Div 2, Div 1 finals I've got 5,500 views. This is just on YouTube, so Facebook typically doubles it, right? So it's for us, we split it roughly 50-50 between the two. I can't see it being any different for BAFA.
Right.
So you've got prorated probably about 10k views on those two. The women's finals only it's got 2.7 thousand, which is good. Probably about 5,000 total between the two, but it deserves a lot more. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. It was awesome.
From what I've been in a couple of group chats and stuff where people have talked about what games they enjoyed over the weekend and everything like that, and they've put the women's game right up there as the best game across the weekend out of all four of them.
No, it was good. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't the best game of the weekend.
No, they didn't say it was the best. They didn't say it was the best. They said it was better than the Div 1 final. The Div 2 final by far.
Yes.
Like everybody I spoke to was just bored of the Div 2 final because it was just such a fucking blowout.
Yeah.
And then they said it was better than the Prem final because Manchester just ran away with it.
Yeah, I think towards the end Manchester ran away with it. So I get that,
but everybody I've spoken to said the Div 1 final was the best game of the week.
The women's game was just like cat and mouse back and forward. It was awesome all the way through. So yeah.
Yeah, everyone I spoke to said the Div 1 final was the best game of the weekend, but they had the women's as the second best game. So
yeah,
great fucking advertising. Anybody who's joined us late and is curious about my face,
rugby, just rugby.
Yeah, rugby. Go back to the start of the stream.
The Prem final currently has got 9.2 thousand views on.
That's always going to get the most
on YouTube. So that may be around 20k views, which is awesome. So like that in terms of live streaming, I mean the quality of the live streams was brilliant. They did like the halftime shows. They had multiple camera angles. They had the replays, good commentary. I think the commentators, like from me watching it, there was a few times that like something blatant would happen, but I see this in the NFL. Something blatant would happen on screen, and they just completely miss it, and then it'd be flagged, and they'd be like, "I wonder what this flag's for," and I'd be like, "Just fucking, it was just there. It was right there." And then like there was a couple of things where they were calling out and got, I don't know, names or numbers or stats or things wrong, but on the whole, mate, it was really good. It was really good. The one-handed interception in Div 1 final, yeah, it didn't count. No, we haven't talked about the Div 1 yet. But yeah, so the women's we didn't have any predictions for the women's game because we haven't done so all year. But
Tebs is the only one that knows.
Tebs, and then he's got a couple of others.
The funny thing is, do you know what the funny thing is, right? Tebs is the one of us who knows the most, and he said the game was going to be a blowout, and it turns out he didn't know fucking shit.
I know. Yeah. It was, yeah. So yeah, it was an unexpected gem of a game. Really was.
Nice.
So
well played, ladies. Congratulations.
Yeah, commiserations to the Lions. Like it could have gone either way. Honestly, it was so good. It was won by 5 points. The Lions had the ball, and if they'd have scored in the last drive, they would have won by a point. Like it was all drama.
So I just want to touch on this. So Adam said commentator needs to read up on teams more. He knows that Oz will say it's only Div 2 and they got so many names wrong. Said the Mavs had lost the game, etc., etc. If it was a regular season game, that would be the stance I would make, Adam. Right? But in a final, and when you're an external company brought in and being paid to produce something, that needs to be a fucking polished product. Yeah. So the fact that they didn't read up on
onside must have got the thick side of 10k for those 4 streams.
Yeah, so I expect a fucking primo.
It's about 10 grand worth of
like they 100% should know all of the Mavericks player names. They should know all of the Revolution's player names. They should have fucking everything on. Like Baffa should give them everything they need to make sure that they're putting out a fucking 10 out of 10 product. So it doesn't matter. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's Div. It doesn't matter if it's Div 2. It doesn't matter if it's fucking women's. It doesn't. If it's a nationally broadcasted. So this is coming off the national fucking body's channel. It needs to be tip top, right? That's what we're trying to get to for our stuff, and we work with the teams to get there, and we're fucking volunteering to do it for them, right? Yeah. But when you're paying someone. Like when you're forking out thousands to tens of thousands of pounds for something, you expect a fucking primo product. So Adam, I would say they've done you dirty by not having all the information that they needed.
Yeah, it's a good point. LL Cool P. So Mike Woolley from our team asked LL Cool P to put some stats together so that they could give them to the commentators. LL Cool P only had time to get some stuff. He was busy and only had time to get some stuff done for the final, and they still didn't use his stuff or credit.
Of course they didn't.
So he's now sent me it all. And we'll see if we can put some posts together or whatever. But so it's I suppose you could criticize that part of it. I sort of feel remiss to do so because we've got a competing live streaming service, right? So it just sort of it's just a bit twatty for me to sit there.
No. See, I'm not asking you to pick holes in it. I'm going to take an independent stance. This is not Oz from Sport Tank. This is Aaron.
Oz doesn't get involved with the live stream games.
Exactly. But this is Aaron, the American football fan. Like this is me as an independent fucking entity viewer. Like the fucking bullshit disclaimer shit of anything that I say doesn't reflect the opinions of Sport Tank as a whole. Blah 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 blah.
You'll get Matey Boy back saying, "Oh, did Sport Tank just say?
Did Sport Tank just say that all other competing live stream services are shit?"
We're the best.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Get fucked, you cunt.
When would the possibility of finals being... Oh, sorry, I was reading the other one.
Okay, yeah. What the possibility of the finals being aired on TV in the future?
Well, I don't think the whole time that something's live streamed, you've got a requirement for broadcast TV. You can cast it to different size televisions. You can watch it from anywhere if it's on YouTube. You don't need a TV service or an aerial. So I think the answer is you won't get that.
And that would be up to Cricket Pete handling any sort of broadcasting. I was laughing at Tez's comment as well. Why have we waited until the last show of the year for the disclaimer?
I wouldn't even bother saying it. I just wait. When the complaint comes in, I'll print it out and then I'll just burn it over the bin.
When the plate you print it out and you print it onto a napkin, you beat off into the napkin.
Oh my god!
Adam completely agrees on me. If you want to laugh, look at our head coach's face during the pre-game interview when he said that they'd lost the game. So
I'll have to have a look. I didn't see it.
Now, so how did you feel when you lost that game? When was that? Last year?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So there were 3. I don't know. Well, were Warriors undefeated all year?
No.
Warrior women's. Warrior women's.
I think so.
If so, that was the 4 teams were completely undefeated this whole year that won the championships.
Yeah, so that's what Kwame is sort of touching on is what I was thinking, like having, the Brit Bowl or whatever on Sky Sports, because it just makes it more readily accessible, because no, I know they won't, but it would make it more accessible to the public.
I don't disagree, but
it just won't happen. No, yeah. I understand because
getting it broadcast on Piccadilly Circus's screens and Times Square screens in America would also help, but it's not going to happen either. I don't know.
I mean, who's extrapolating now?
Just the whole what's the Italian saying, isn't it? If my mother had wheels, she'd be a bike. In your alternate reality, I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying it's unlikely because we've got a stream. We got the live stream. Kept looking for Sky Bet. It does. It did appear on Sky Bet, didn't it? A couple of times. Yeah, that's a good point, Stephen. You are more likely to see flag than contact.
And and as Kwame said, the Ipswich Cardinals are the only team to hold one of the national championship winners from winning. Because the Cardinals beat the... No, wait, how does that fucking work out?
What? You're telling me the Ipswich Cardinals are the only team to hold one of the national championship winners?
No, because the Hertfordshire went undefeated. East Kent went undefeated.
Did they?
Manchester, all 4 of them went undefeated.
I don't know, Kwame. What are you talking about? I think... Oh, man.
East Kent... Oh, East Kent tied. So undefeated, but they tied 0-0. No.
Still undefeated, and they come on. That's fucking...
I thought the 0-0 was fucking Colchester in Ipswich. No, okay, there we go. It was Colchester and East Kent. So Kwame doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either.
Well,
I was going to say, I knew Colchester had a 0-0. I just didn't remember. I forgot it was with East Kent. No, East Kent should be offended because they kicked the shit out of Ipswich.
Yeah.
In the home and away series, they fucking 65-10 was their total. Was their total thing. Craig's commenting from the club account. Premier Sports Show Ice Hockey. That's the goal at the moment. So. Craig's just saying that the goal is to get on Premier Sports, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you watch, I think there's Sky Sports 4 or 5. If you watch what they show, you think Britain was much better than this year.
Oh mate, I get pretty fucking.
But I think part of the issue is the same issue that's always existed in the sport, is that some twat somewhere is trying to line their pockets or doesn't want their ego bruised, and then it puts a halt to it, right?
I do love a bit of curling though. Like let me just fucking throw that out there. But I'm a big fan of like Sky Sports 4, 2 o'clock in the morning, fucking Norwegian curling. Like I've got degenerate mates. Oh, okay. I think it's me texting from Saturday.
Right, let's go on to the next game.
Okay, he's Antonio, do you smell burnt toast?
Crooked Pete? I bet it's some kid or pet or something stitching.
Right, Div 1 game. Tell me about it. I again didn't watch it, didn't see it.
So that Cricket Pete interview. There's a Cricket Pete interview at the final, and it was awful. It was like a PR nightmare, and I don't know why he did it. He contradicted himself. He talked in circles. He talked about a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. And he was saying, "Oh yeah, don't worry about 5. We're thinking more 10." He's trying to push. Everyone's thinking out another decade, even though we're halfway through that. Like the guy is a walking joke, and I hope he leaves the sport very soon. And I hope they don't get such a clowny person in. Sensitive not wanting to further poke the bear. I'd like to say thanks to Steve for picking the Vikings. I know you did it as a favour
to a friendly OC and against your better judgment. To be honest though.
Yeah. I was picked the Vikings really.
No, you flip. Hey, because you flip flopped though, because you picked the Cheetahs, and then, but the reason you flip flopped is because Russ came on and called you, or Craig came on and called you.
No, it didn't come on. It was at the game. Yeah, he said like, "Oh, you're gonna vote for us now." I said,
well, but then you vote like when we were on the show. You can go back and watch You can go back and watch the film. You had picked Hertfordshire, but you were like, "Oh, I don't know," and I was like, "You're gonna lock it in. You're gonna lock it in." And then Craig came on and was like, "You had one job. You had one job to do," and he called you out. And then you're like, "Oh, fine, fuck it. I'll take the Vikings." So you did your job. You had one job and you did it.
I must admit, watching it, like, I found myself cheering on both teams at different times, just in terms of play.
All right, let's talk about it. So the game we're talking about is Hertfordshire beat the Northumberland Vikings. So Hertfordshire Cheetahs are the Div 1 final champions to 27 points to 21. They had no idea the history of Brit Bowl used to be all in one weekend in Sheffield, Don Valley, and Crystal Palace, as well as Doncaster. They have no idea if the history making a statement is the first time all weekend the game played on the same weekend.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why they were saying that.
Apparently, my entire coaching team is watching your stream. That's the impact you've made. Thank you.
Oh, Don, congrats.
Thank you. What?
Don's the head coach of the Cheetahs.
Oh, because we had the OC on here before. I'm
pretty sure that's Don.
Yeah. It is. It says his name is Don.
Hearts D-line coach has so many championship wins. Okay. I don't know why you put that up. What the fuck?
Well, because he's giving props to his coach or someone else's coach. Stop being such a sourpuss. I know it's the last.
I just want to talk about the game.
Oh, you're just a miserable prick. Right.
So it was 21-0 at halftime. Right, cool. Cheers, Don.
Now
21-0 to the Vikings, and it should have been 27 or 28-0 because
was this the one-handed
QB fumbled? The Hearts QB, Hertfordshire's QB fumbled, and the Newcastle defense picked it up, and they were like, there was like two or three of them. That was being run back 80 yards or so, 70 yards or so, right?
Ref blew it dead.
And the ref blew it dead, saying the ball was going forward, and it absolutely wasn't. And it didn't even look it live, right? And that was a bad call. And so anyway, they go in at halftime 21-0 up if you're talking from the Vikings, 21-0 down if you're a Cheetah. Yeah. But it wasn't just the scoreline it just felt like a dominant performance from the Vikings. It just felt like the Cheetahs, like every time they started to pull something together, it just sort of broke down. But like they were good for first downs and stuff. Like they did, they weren't like overclassed, but they just weren't scoring, right? And obviously the other side, the Vikings were, and they scored some impressive touchdowns. Yeah. Martin's commenting there. Yeah, they didn't have instant replay here for the refs this year, which they should have done, which would have probably saved this I mean, it'd be interesting to know, like, if a ref
right. Okay. Can I fucking is this could be my fucking brain damage. Like, is this sarcasm? Have we ever had instant replay?
Yeah, had it last year. That's what Martin's referring to.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
had it last year. In the final,
the refs had a little booth thing, and they were going up to it like that, and
just in the final,
right? The final, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I didn't pay attention to the final last year. I haven't really paid attention to a final since I've played in one. Yeah. So I thought this was Martin taking the piss, being like, "Oh well, we needed the instant replay." I thought it was like
a step
back.
Okay.
It
cool. Didn't have that, and yeah. Anyway, so he's absolutely right, and interesting. An interesting point there would be if the refs had the safety net of the instant replay, would he have just let that play go on?
Let the play run, and then you review the scoring play.
He made the call. He's like, stop, like an instant, immediate. Like the guy had just picked the ball up, maybe moved 4 or 5 yards, and then it was.
So that's a big thing that's talked about. Cool. That's a big thing that's talked about in the NFL side of things, because in the NFL, all scoring plays are reviewed. Every single scoring play is reviewed. If the refs blow it dead and they get the call wrong, a coach has, unless it's outside of 2 minutes, a coach has to throw the challenge flag and risk losing a timeout to make the challenge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of contention between like commentators and fans.
Well,
and things like that.
I'm fairly sure they had challenge flags.
No. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of contention that when these sort of plays happen, where it's like you're unsure if it's a fumble or an incompletion or whatever. The whole point is that like refs should always let it run. Don't blow it dead. Because if it's a scoring play, they will automatically review it. So they say that they should always let the play continue, because it's going to get automatically reviewed.
And that's my thinking. Like I didn't think it at the time, obviously, but just looking at Martin's comments there made me realise, that probably would have changed the way the game was officiated to that end. And
the other thing with that though is it's the whole burden of proof thing. So I'm not sure if Britball's the same, like because I don't know if you have challenges in the final or not. But for the NFL, like to overturn a call, you have to have conclusive evidence. Yeah. So whatever the call on the field is, if it's a gray area, the call stands. You can only overturn a call if it's like
this one was pretty blatant. Like.
So that's the thing. But it's like the gray area is always they're like, oh, you should call it because it's a scoring play to be reviewed. And it's like, but what if you review it and you're like, well, we're not actually sure. And then you've just given them a touchdown when it should have been called. You don't know. So it's just the gray area side of things where things aren't confirmed. Sometimes they're just left to stand because there's not enough conclusive evidence to overturn it, but there's not enough conclusive evidence to confirm it either.
Yeah, that's fine. I think people understand that, but just like that one, I think it was a fairly blatant one. Even the commentators said about it, like it was almost like indefensible when you watched it back. Wasn't he? So
Simon's asked, why do we not have that in Britball? Tony actually answered that for you, Simon, before you even asked the question. Pete's wages, due to Cricket Pete's wages. So all the money went into his pockets. Donna said, what's needed in a final is both a review
game clock.
Absolutely. Several key points during the game would have been better managed if these areas are clear. Yeah, time management, man.
I was about to say game clocks should be added.
Oh, 100%. Because the thing is, like, I remember as a player, so often you'd be like, ref, how long's left? How long's left?
You just fucking peer. Because normally they have them at the ends for the play, like both at the back pylons of both of the end zone. So you can just have a quick look and just see how much time's left.
Because as a coach, though, it changes your strategy completely. Because like you're going to be more aggressive if you're running out of time and you're behind. Or as a defensive, or as a coach, if you're ahead, you're going to be more conservative because you're like, we've got more time, or I've got more trust in my defense because I can fucking punt. Like if you're looking at like a short fourth down, you're like, well, do I go for it? And you're like, you know what? No, I've got time. I trust my defense to hold him. We'll get the ball back and we can make plays. Like so much goes into like clock management. To me, is one of the most important fucking things as an NFL coach, but it doesn't really translate to Britball because we don't know about it. All you ever know is like,
but I still think there's still instances of very poor time management.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Because there's times when you like you get told
why are they taking the time out? Why are they taking the time out?
Yeah. It's like it's been blown. It's like the 2-minute warning, and then they go down. You're like, right, you've got time out. Use your fucking time. What are you doing? Like there's easily ways to be a poor clock manager in Britball, but it's definitely something that I think would be used more if the opportunity was provided. So Don said it cost us a potential TD at the end of the first half because he did not realize that they'd restarted the clock. So I'm assuming that's play clock, not game clock.
It must be game clock. Yeah, game clock. Yeah.
Why would they restart the game clock? Oh, it was in the clock. Right. So sorry, I get you. Yeah, restarted, not as in reset. Like it's yeah, cool. Sorry. Love how the CEO frequently asked questions, says we gain more funding by paying Crooked Pete 50K rather than just investing 50K.
Yeah, I know. Would have been better off putting that into like a fund, like, you know, like a hedge fund or investment fund somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
We'd have more money. We'd have more money out of it. Mate, steady
we could have put that 50K into a fucking pyramid scheme and had more money. Like, literally, we could have put that
just
into
put it on red in a casino, just once a year. Mate, once a year, the whole of Britball goes to a casino.
Not even, mate. Not even. Fucking.
We live stream it.
Aston Villa to win the league. Aston Villa to win the Prem. 5,000 to 1. Put that 50 grand down. Like, because at least, you know, Leicester's proven it can be done. Like, yeah. Fucking take the 50 grand, put it on it. You know, do you remember in the late 90s and 2000s, Americans were always talking about timeshares? How they had like a timeshare in Aston. Yeah, exactly. Just put the 50K in a timeshare. You know, some of us can go there for the winter holidays, and you know, you win your money back.
It's not just perks for members. Like,
could we not just get those? Mate, take the 50 grand, turn Cricket Pete's house into an Airbnb. Like, there's so many things that we could do. Rent out his house, rent out his wife. Fuck it, why not?
That's awful. Keep going.
Moving on.
So second half.
Yeah, second half. So currently the Cheetahs are down 21-0.
Yeah. So the biggest difference between the second and the first half of the Cheetahs was the defense. So them shutting down and keeping the Vikings offense off the field and out of the end zone gave their offense confidence, time, space. Like they were able to score. You know, it was awesome. Sorry, what's this?
This is wild.
We were checking. Yeah. Well, the stream hasn't got accurate timing anyway.
No, but I know. But teams, you know, literally having somebody on the sideline. Can you check the stream?
Yeah.
Did
you just suggest?
No, I suggested legalized prostitution. Completely different. Yeah, but imagine having somebody on the sideline watching the stream and being like, right, what time are we at? How long have we got? Like,
yeah,
the things that we have to do to work around.
It's just dirty tactics to get more people watching the stream.
I know you're at the game, but log on and watch the stream. Boost our numbers.
Well, like, ref, can we have a time check? Just watch the stream.
Log in.
Come on, if you've got a smartphone, get it out.
Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification button. Leave a like on the stream, and I'll tell you the time. Every time somebody likes the live stream, the ref reads out how many minutes are left in the game.
So, Cheetahs performed as well as the Vikings did in the first half. Right? So
they performed better because the Vikings only scored 21 points in the first half,
so did the Cheetahs.
No,
this game went to overtime.
Did it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know this because it doesn't say OT on our website.
Which is...
That's bonkers.
What does OT stand for?
I said it doesn't say OT on our website.
Oh, it does on the text post. It doesn't on the graphic one.
No, so I'm looking on our website and I'm saying I said I didn't know this.
Oh, website. Yeah, website went up. Yeah. That's all fancy stuff.
So the thing that you're investing tens of thousands of pounds won't have the fancy stuff.
Not yet. Yeah. So anyway, so it finished 21.
Yeah.
They went to overtime, and
who received?
That's what I'm just trying to fucking say. There was no receive because you start with the ball from the 25-yard line, and there's no special teams. So you start with the ball 25-yard line and try to score.
Who started with the ball?
Vikings. And they kicked a field goal. But, so I'm fairly sure, after watching the GB team go into overtime, that you can't score a field goal on your first drive. It's not allowed, but they did it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, it then went because it was so it's NCAA sudden death. So it then went to the cheaters.
I was going to say they obviously fucking missed. Because you said they kicked the field goal, but they obviously missed because they finished with 21 points. It wasn't 27-24.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Sorry, I didn't add that in. Yeah, so they didn't. It was unsuccessful. Then the cheaters took over and scored on their drive, and they went fucking mental. It was a pass deep back to the right edge of the end zone. Number 9. They're going to put his name up. I can't forget it. Andy Dickens was awesome. He said he was a hero offensive tackle. He was awesome on D-line as well. I got a couple of sacks. Andy Dickens is quality, mate. He's such a class player and such a lovely guy off the field.
Was he the dude who
number 71?
No, I was going to say, was he the guy who had the multiple pick sixes on the season?
No, that's Jordan Legg. He had a great game too. He just when I would say Jordan sort of was a clear leader type personality on the field. Like when they were 21-0 down, you could see he was still like when he returns kicks as well, right? And when he went to return a kick, like he just wasn't going down. He was smashing into everyone. Like he was giving his all. And he had a great game anyway. But no, he didn't get. It wasn't him that he didn't get a pick six or anything. But he was the guy that I think he got 3 pick sixes in like 4 games or something. Again, they're going to correct me, but I know he's like a pick six maestro. But yeah, Jordan had a great game, number 3. It was Jaden Abraham, number 9, that caught the TD, and it was just like scenes, like it was so good. It was so, and everything went on, like the footage wise went on the cheaters, and I just remember I remember being elated for the cheaters, of course, but I remember feeling, oh man, imagine being the Vikings, to lose in that manner, to play the game in that manner, to lead it, to be so confident going into the half, and then everything just taken away from you, and then a cruel single sudden death TD to end it, So the Vikings threw it away, but you could also say that the cheaters, won it. Like they won the second half and then they won overtime. That's how they won the game.
So I wanted to talk about this because I saw Ryan the Cat mention something about this before as well. A one-handed interception that got called back for defensive
I don't know.
offside.
Yeah, it was a cool catch. I don't know. Like the ball was up in the air. The play was called dead, and then the dude leant back and caught it. I think it was a left. Leant back and caught it in the air.
From what team? Like, give me some
it was
the
Vikings. From what I heard and what I saw in the comments, so this guy was standing in as the Vikings head coach because their head coach and their defensive coordinator didn't make it. Now, someone's going to need to confirm that, but I saw someone comment about that in the chat on the live stream yesterday, Saturday. Sorry.
So they were literally playing.
All right.
So they're literally playing in a final, and there was no regular head coach and no OC.
I think the cheaters interception. I don't know what interception that is that they're talking about. Andy Hurst's was good. Yeah, I can't remember Andy Hurst. I think that was the one that he ran it back really far, but he ran onto it.
That could be the one that Rachel's talking about.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, it was an OBJ, but then it was an OBJ like catch after the whistle was blown. I don't know. I'm just not that impressed. It was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't get why so many people are that interested in it. It was good. It was a good catch, but it didn't mean anything. So what's the point? Fucking.
Do we know?
Anyone came up with that one? Yes, and I can.
Do we know why he was stand-in head coach on the day? Like, cool. Why is it in your biggest game of the season? Your coach isn't there. Like, I get if there's personal things like that. Like, I get it. We're an amateur fucking sport. Like, if life does get in the way, life gets in the way. But this is the most important game of your season. So I'm curious to know why you missed the game.
Yeah, and I think the DC wasn't there as well. And Ryan the Cat said it was cool watching it at field level. Yeah, but it was cool. Like, it was cool. I thought it was good. I don't know. But
Ryan the Cat got to fulfill his dreams.
I think there was better shit that went on in that game than that catch, which meant nothing.
I thought it was really nice of Willie Mike to do his Make a Wish Foundation, like grant it to meet Ryan the Cat at halftime.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
So yeah, it was. It just made me think. It just made like I saw it, and there's Mike and Ryan, and Ryan's grinning, like his grin so fucking big. I was sitting there, all I could think was, mate, like Mike has just done a Make a Wish Foundation thing and just granted this kid like his dream to meet Willie Mike at a Brit Ball final.
Like a Cheshire Cat. But yeah, so that it was it was awesome. It was like, again, another game worth rewatching from the weekend. It was so good. So congrats to the Cats for being champs. Congrats to the Vikings for getting promoted. Vikings are a solid team. They were dominant. I feel like I was saying in the comments that they had a danger target player, Conway, I think that's his name. Conley. He caught their first 2 TDs like that. And then he started getting double covered. But then it wasn't like the Vikings adjusted to that. They kept throwing it to him, and then they just stopped throwing it to him. But sure, like for me, if someone's getting double covered, you run them deep, and then you throw a ball underneath to someone and get in space, right? Until they readjust back down, and then you go with what they give you. And I don't think the Vikings.
Well, when the moment you start double covering somebody else is either
that's it. Like, so if the guy you're covering is fucking 20, is double covered, is 25 yards up the field, there's some space somewhere underneath, right?
Not even necessarily underneath, because they literally could be pulling a safety over the top, and you've got
side to side. I think it's more likely that it would be space underneath where you would have the corner and safety double covering rather than the 2 safeties coming across.
But if you have the corner and the safety, then you still might be leaking the backer out to the flats anyway. At which point that area is still covered underneath.
Yeah.
But then you've got the hole over the middle. So it's the point is, if somebody's double covered, there is a hole somewhere. There 100% is a hole somewhere, and it's your job to find that.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony said. The Cheetahs adjusted better in the second half.
Yeah,
and Kwame is scheme him back open or find another receiver. Probably the second part, as opposed to it's kind of hard to scheme someone open.
You don't want to change your scheme. You want to just use other bits of it that are going to work, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a success that he's drawn like a fucking magnet players to him, right?
100%.
So use that success. Like I was going to put it in the chat, and then I started writing up. Fuck it.
It's kind of, but the thing is, it's
going to just
the other thing you remember,
or whatever, like
this is probably going to piss some people off, but it's not like we have a massively high level of talented QB play in Brit Ball. Like, in the grand scheme of things, there's not that many good QBs in Brit Ball. There really fucking isn't. Like Brit Ball is American football played by rugby players. Like there's a reason that running game is so fucking dominant in this country. It's because we can't partly, but we can't really pass for shit.
If they had
so you're asking guys to be able to make the reads on the fly, make the adjustments, make the fucking there we go. Hey, no, wait, you're right. Like, there's not that many good QBs in this fucking country. There really isn't.
Yeah. Tony raises a good point. It could be due to them not having their coaches there to be able to make that adjustment.
100%.
I don't know. There's a lot of things, but essentially what we saw was them not adjusting, and then they did start throwing it to other players, and they were making good progress with those players, but they never went back to Conley. And I was thinking, mate, that's your TD ticket right there. Like you've now spread it around a little bit. They should have changed formation, go back to him, and they didn't. Never went back to him. He never got brought back into the game from in the second half and in overtime.
Yeah.
Anyway, great game, awesome advent again for the sport.
Onto the big ticket then, the one that everybody's waited for. The reason people are still here watching.
Yeah, I don't know, is it? Probably.
Oh, 100%. It really is.
Just the dominant Manchester performance. I feel like the Warriors
so good.
They're awesome. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, the Warriors have just been unlucky here and there. And I thought, actually, no, like they've got beat deep like 3 or 4 times on the same pass. If I compared like the DBs, the DB performance of the Manchester Titans to the DB performance of the Warriors, the Titans were just way better in just looking at that section, but all over the field. I mean, I'd not seen him before. Number 33, they're running, I think it's Nicholas or Nicholson. Apparently he's been with the Titans 10 years, didn't play last year in the final, I think through injury, but was there this year. The guy's an absolute monster. I don't know at all. He must be about 6'1", 6'2". He's a big dude, and he's just an athlete. And like when he gets his legs going, he takes some bringing down. He was fantastic watching him. And then obviously like the Manchester receivers, the O-line. Obviously they put up 44 points, the most number of points that's ever been put up against the London Warriors. So that's how dominant they were. That's how good they were yesterday.
So I've got a question, right? Is like, I don't know how to phrase this. Right. This is dominant and epic from Manchester, right? But at the same time, have the Warriors dropped off?
Yeah.
Have they lost a step? Are they like, is this because then I don't want to take anything
Derrick Henry. Yeah, he fucking did. Sorry. That's a great analogy.
I don't want to take anything away from Manchester and their win. Like you've just won by 17 points. You've put up nearly 50 points on. But would they have done this to say the Warriors of 2016, 2017 is?
I don't think there's any point in making that comparison.
Like no, but all I'm trying to ask is are the Warriors the same team that they used to be, or are they now, just good?
They're the best team in the South. The Warriors,
which leaves you wanting. Like I'm staring at the scoreline, and that leaves you wanting.
I just think so. I also, someone just mentioned the Warriors' discipline was awful. That beat them. I think those are probably the two biggest things of the game. There's probably other things you could pick up, but I would say the two biggest things were, let's say three. The deep ball, they just couldn't cover it. They didn't really have much of an answer for Derrick Henry, the Titans running back. They didn't stack the box enough to stop him, but then they didn't have the DBs covering deep to stop the deep ball. And then the discipline, they just kept getting penalty after penalty after penalty, and it was knocking them back, and it was just awful.
Like it's the way that I'm trying to put it, and again, I don't want to take it away from Manchester, because like Manchester for the past 2 years have been the standard. Like we've seen, mate. I haven't got a.
Go on, I'll let you finish. Sorry, I do have something to say.
It's more like, have we seen? Like we see these teams rise, and then we see these teams fall. Is what I'm sort of saying. Like, we saw the like the Knights did it when they went to Europe, right? They climbed to the very top, and then they fell. Who was the team that did it before? Was it the Olympians that were really fucking good back in the mid 2000s?
Yeah, the O's, and then the Blitz as well. The Blitz, the late like 2012, I think, is when the Blitz won the European Championship.
Right. So, but this is what I'm saying. Like, is it time that we need to stop sort of, because I've been guilty of doing this, where I've sort of put the Warriors on a pedestal and just said they're so much better than everybody else. Like, even like,
I think the Titans
coming into this year, I was saying they're so much better than everybody else in the South. I was just like that, they're going to go unbeaten, they're going to make the final, and then we'll see what's what. Is it time? Like, has it reached a point now where we're like, you know what, we need to put the Warriors back where there's a possibility, like where it's no longer just a given that they're going to win every game until they reach the final.
They lost the game this season in the regular season.
But that's that's what I'm saying. Like, if we now reached a point where we need to stop approaching the Warriors as like this sort of mythical, like, so that's the thing. Like, the Warriors were unbeaten for 5 years, includes 2020. Have we come to the end of that sort of dynasty?
I believe so. But then I think the next one's on its way. Like, I don't think the Warriors are done. And
like we see, but the point I'm trying to make is we see these sort of rise and falls of these great sort of dynasty teams. Like, the Knights did it, the O's did it, the Blitz did it, the Warriors did it. Yeah. Is it the end Titans. Of the Warriors? And now we're seeing the Titans. Is this now? Yeah. We're gonna see Manchester run 3, 4, 5, 6 titles in a row.
I don't imagine they'll do that many. I don't think so, but we'll see. But yeah, I think that they're the team to beat now. They're the best team in the UK. They're back-to-back champions. They're going to want to go for a three-peat. They're going to want to keep doing what they're doing. But they will, as will the Warriors now. So the Warriors enticed a lot of former players back towards the end of the season, right, to prepare for the finals. And they'll lose all those. Like, most of those players now will retire. You'll get some players retiring from the Titans as well, because they've just done 2 championships back to back, and that's never been done in Britball before for a Northern team. And they may think that accolade's enough for me to stop now. Got other commitments and stuff. So Britball is never the continuum of play in Britball is very difficult to maintain.
But Britball. But it also Britball has life cycles, is what I've noticed, where teams go on a run, and it's usually for sort of minimum of 3 years, it's usually sort of 3 to 5 years where they will go on a run, and they will just be exceptionally dominant at the very, very top, and occasionally you might see a blip. So the blip that we've seen recently, to me, is Tamworth.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that one, but at the same time, that blip to me was the beginning of the end for the Warriors. That was where we saw the Warriors end of their little mini dynasty that they've had since the late 2010s, mid 2010s. That blip, so since the mid 2010s until Tamworth, and then from so hello, Cool called you out.
So why did they keep saying that then, if that's the case?
Probably because there was a different sort of, I'm assuming it was a different sort of fucking, It's the same thing. No. So it's the same thing that people talk about, like the, back-to-back Premier League winners and things like that. But the fact is the Premier League's only existed since 1991. And then other teams won the league before the Premier League existed, but then they're not. I'm assuming it's something to do with that.
It's cheap.
But
I like it.
But it just feels like that the Warriors, sort of the end of the beginning of the end for the Warriors was when they lost to Tamworth, and then now we see Manchester on the rise, and we're going to see Manchester for a few years. Warriors have lost 5 games in the last 10 years. How can you say the dynasty's over? When did they last
2 Britballs?
When did they? Well, it's the last 3, isn't it? Because didn't Tamworth win the year before that?
No, they won 2017, mate.
So
the Warriors have won since then, because they did the whole, normal services resumed content after that.
Right. Okay. They've made 8 out of the last 9 seasons. The Natty 8 out of the last 9 seasons. That just tells me that the South hasn't really challenged them. But how many have they won in the last 5 years? So if we go back to 2018, have they won 2 in the last 5? So Manchester's won 2.
I don't know, mate.
I don't know. It feels like,
hello, cool people now.
Yeah. Who can tell? So 2013 to 2016, and then they won 2019 and 2021. So who won 2020 then? Did we have? No, we had a cancelled season, right? I don't know. It just feels like Manchester is starting to pull away from everybody else.
And what did he say? 2019 and 2021. No, there was no 2020. There was no 2021.
Right. So no 2020, no 2021. So that means they must have won, 2018, 2019?
So they won 19, 18.
Tamworth was
17, and then 16, 15, 14, 13, all won by the Warriors. So
yeah,
in the last 10 years, the Warriors have won 1, 2, 6.
Right, but they haven't won one since 2019. So that's 4 years now. 4 years.
Well, I think it's easier to say.
I understand what you're going to say. It's 2 league years, but it's 4 years, right? Those humans, even though the league didn't run for 2 of those years, those humans still aged, right? So the point that I'm making is the players that would have been the backbone of that championship team from 2013 to 2016, and then, was still probably would have been at the back end of their prime in the 2018-2019 run, right? We're still 4 years from when that last championship. So that's why I'm saying, are we looking at the end of a dynasty now with Manchester now on the rise? Because it feels like the Warriors' dominance period and the players that powered that dominance. Like you think about the players that sort of dominated the GB side and from the Warriors and stuff from the mid 2010s, like people like Kev Cohan and things like that, they're backside of 30 now.
Yeah, Kev's not playing.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. But people like Kev was in his prime in the middle of the 2010s. Yeah. He was part of those teams.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people like Kev that were in their prime at that point in time 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's
Kwame's talking shit, Tebs, don't worry. But that's what I'm saying. Like, how well have they gone about reloading in that period where we've had 4 years since they won the championship?
They haven't. And that's what I think. That's where I think they suffered. I think the advent of the NFL Academy, which drew a lot of the coaching staff away from the London Warriors, they tried to do the academy and the Warriors at the same time, and I think the Warriors ended up suffering for it. But now Tony Allen's back at the Warriors. I'd imagine that he'll be able to bring more people back in, attract different people, and they'll start to. Like I said, I think they'll start to rebuild. You know, like I think they're in like a lull at the moment, which is not a bad one because they're still making finals.
Yeah. That's where the sort of onus is now on teams like Bristol and the Blitz to if this is the end of the Warriors dynasty and a vacuum is opening up at the top there, it's your job. Like it's and I think Bristol's done a good job in the last 2 years to sort of build the stepping stones to prepare themselves to.
They've kept the Blitz out of the playoffs in the last 2 years.
Yeah, 100%. And they've also built and forged those bonds with players coming, like the younger players coming through. So guys
Bristol's like that, just wonderful area of loads of great catchment.
SGA, like with Pride and with fucking UWE,
and the Cobras and the Barracuda as well.
Exactly.
And then you could even go further along to Bath. The Demons down in Plymouth. Are they Plymouth Demons? Am I getting that right?
Tibbs will know.
Someone will correct me. I'm pretty sure it is. No, Plymouth Blitz. What are the Demons? Exeter. Sorry, Exeter down in Exeter. I'm not going to say Gloucestershire. Tebbs is the president of Gloucestershire this year.
Oh,
so he's all in.
Say the fucking Gloucestershire. Well, are they even Prem?
Yeah, Div 2.
Yeah, so no one gives a shit.
I think they're Div 2.
Div 2 Uniball. Are we really talking about
Div 2 Uniball? Because that's his job.
No.
We're done. Right, are we done now?
Div 2 Uniball right off.
Are we done now? Like, I suppose we need to. Have we said enough congratulations to the Titans? Awesome achievement.
Yeah.
Congrats to Sam Bloomfield back-to-back MVPs as well.
Fuck him now. Jesus Christ.
Congrats to Yaz again for a double
championships. Yeah.
Those are the real winners. These are the real winners of the weekend.
100%. No, that's the thing. Like, I want to make sure that people aren't fucking taking the wrong thing of what I'm saying about like that the reason that the Titans are winning is because the Warriors are on the downfall. No. I'm saying that the reason the Titans are winning is because the fucking Titans are on the upswing, and I think we could be staring down the next could be 2020, 2026, 2027. We're talking about fucking the 5 time in a row Manchester Titans.
I just remembered something that in March next year, so we've got less than 6 months now, we should be seeing the brand new professional UK AFL American Football League. I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait.
What are you going to do if they actually come out and fucking release it?
Woo! We'll just cover it on Sport Tank. I don't give a fuck. I will not change my my views on how terrible the guy is that is trying to run that league and that
is that a Guy Kersey product?
Huh?
Who's the dude running that one?
Mick Tyler.
Mick Tyler, that was it.
He's tried spin-off leagues multiple times. He's tried streaming services. The guy's just all over the place, and everything he touches turns to shit. Can we
do a swear jar for like a Sport Tank? No. Just hear me out. a Sportank swear jar every time Kwame mentions the ELF.
Oh, he don't stop.
Every time
he was going to cover. He was going to cover.
No one gives a shit about the ELF. Like it's just.
Do you like him less than Pete? Do I like him less? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Just every time.
I just think he's incompetent, and has got ridiculous conflicting priorities that he shouldn't be in a position to have. Mick tries to take money out of the sport all the time and has done so successfully, and everyone doesn't like him.
Yeah, so the really
there's a massive difference between those two people.
The really easy way to break this down: Pete is incompetent, Mick is a con man. Like that's just leave it. Like that's the most basic way.
Interview him about the new league. He wouldn't speak to me. There's no way. I would love to, because I would rinse him. I don't know if you guys have seen. I've posted multiple articles about this over the years. Over the last 2 years that they've been fucking stringing people along with this nonsense. And every time everyone's like, oh yeah, but what if it happens? And like, it won't. Like, don't you think, right? If people are still saying, what if it happens now? Think about it. 6 months time, that's going to launch. And they haven't said anything about it for over a year. They've just done NFL coverage. Mick Tyler spends his time live streaming for the Vikings now. That's what he does. So he's more involved in the Vikings. And don't you think that you would have heard from someone somewhere that there's a coach involved, or there's a ground being used, or there's a player being contacted, or there's a website, or there's a team name, or there's just fuck all. What are they going to do? Just drop the league on you on the 12th of March or whatever? Go, here you go, enjoy. Like it's there's no strategy to it. It was a load of fucking hot air, and I called it out multiple times, and I will continue to do so. I won't continue to write articles about it because I just got bored of it. But it's an absolute joke. He is not the person there, not the people to make that happen. Should it happen? Yes. Do I want it to happen? Yes. Of course, I want there to be a professional league in the UK. I know a snake oil salesman when I see one. I think I'd made the comparison. Have you guys? Hopefully, you're familiar with the monorail episode of The Simpsons,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
He's the monorail salesman.
You told us he was the monorail salesman.
Monorail.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And
remember, guys, come for the brick ball, stay for the Simpsons memes.
Yeah.
James has asked, would we care about the LF if there was a British team?
Well, it's not like we don't care about it. We don't have anyone with the expertise to cover it. I think that's the thing that people often get confused with us.
I think he's more specifically asking me because I said I don't give a shit about the LF.
Oh,
I think that's in direct reference to me. I would only care about the LF if there was a British team in it.
Where would they get the refs from? That's the other thing. They've secretly trained up a load of refs to fucking ref all these games. It's just nonsense.
No, I would only care about the ELF if there was a British team in there, if it was proven that they were working on a fucking sustainable model that would keep them in there long term. Like
I think what the sport needs is that next step, is that semi-pro step.
Because I'm not going to give a shit,
like we discussed before.
Yeah, I'm not going to give a shit if they go about like pushing a single team into the LF, and then 2 years later that team's like, we can no longer continue our commitment in the LF. We're having to drop out. Like,
who was it? That Istanbul Rams, wasn't it?
Istanbul
Rams.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, so I'm only going to give a fuck about the LF with a British team in it if there's literally a fucking product that's put out. Shut up, Tibbs. We will. I did
have it up, and he took it down. Said Tibbs.
Like, it's like if there was a way that they've come out and they said this team is joining. This is how we're going to stay sustainable. This is how we're going to be a part of this league for the next 10 to 15 years. Then yes, I would care about it then. But at the moment, like, no, I couldn't give a shit. It's something over there that they're doing their own thing.
So, they rejected Bristol. I knew about that. I think it were Bristol Bulls, and I saw the proposal for it. I think Manchester would be a good shout as well. They as have a lot of non-UK based companies and organizations, they just think the UK is London. That's all they want is London. And that's the massive problem. They can't see outside of it. I think it will have to be a London team.
As someone who's come from a different part of the world, it's kind of because like London is the only thing that your fucking country seems to export on TV and things like that. Like, we don't know that other cities exist. Like, we just don't. It's all we ever see is London this and London that.
Yeah.
And they show us the Shard and then they show us.
Like that's the problem. Is like
they show us Big
Bristol
Ben.
put in a really good bid and talked about their connections with airports and motorways and how big the city is and the culture of it and all this sort of, like really good, and they just rejected it.
Mate, I didn't but when I first moved over here, someone told me about Bristol. Like they were like, "Oh, I'm going to Bristol for the weekend." I was like, "Are you going farming?" Like I didn't understand. Like all I knew was like outside of London, when you get to like anywhere that's not fucking. What about the train bridge from Harry Potter? Yes, mate. Me and the missus are going. We're doing that. We're going to go. I think it's Glencoe Bridge or something. 90 quid from Edinburgh, and you got like a fucking 3-hour train ride up the bridge and everything. It's going to be great. I'm going to fucking.
That sounds. I just don't know.
Put my circle glasses on. I'm going to wave my wand out the window. That's what this is for. It's in preparation for it. Like I just wanted to get all ready.
Right, I'm putting Teb's thing back up because I need to.
Yeah. Come on, find it.
20 minutes for fuck's sake. Yeah. So Teb's
here it is. Senior Ball 2023 is in the books. Means Uniball is back, and the Uniball rundown returns on October 16th.
It's going to be the rundown.
It is just called. It's not the Uniball rundown. It's just the rundown. It's hosted by Tebs and guests. Tebs and guests.
No, and co-hosts. There's three or four of them, and
there will be special. There will be special guests.
They'll do interviews and stuff. Nothing like this show. Better than this show. Make sure you watch it,
mate. Tebs.
I didn't realize it was October 16th that it's coming back.
Yeah. So it's literally it's just a month away, and they go all out on the Uniball rundown.
Awesome.
On the rundown.
So expect a lot more Uniball content coming out. I'll be sitting back. Actually, I'm putting an investor deck ready at the moment. That's what I've been pouring my hours into. So hopefully we'll have investment soon. That'll be good. And then we're looking. Then after that, I'll be looking for sponsorship for the live stream. So that could change the whole landscape of our live streams.
You're all fucking sickos. You're all.
So just leave me alone, everyone, because I'm doing stuff.
Contact Tebs if you've got anything. If you want to be on the Uniball, if you want to be on the rundown, if you want to talk about your Uniball team, contact Tebs. He'll be more than happy to have you on. LL Cool P.
Well, Tebs will be manning Instagram and everything like he always does. So just go to Instagram and he'll pick
Tony and LL Cool P. You're both sick. You're terrible human beings. My wand wouldn't fit out the window. It wouldn't. It's just I'd undo this.
Right, let's go. Look, let's go. Everyone's dropping off. Let's go.
We are done. We are done for the season.
Cool. And enjoy Tebs when he comes back. And fingers crossed, guys, we could have another league to cover next year.
Congratulations, Manchester. Congratulations, the London Warriors women. Congratulations, Hertfordshire Cheetahs. And commiserations to Shropshire Evolution. You got the fucking shit kicked out of you.